past papers. Anyway, so starting with this question, we have. I said there's one problem. I have to open this in the other browser. Just 1 second. Yeah, okay. So starting with this one, we've got this reaction, and this reaction states that there's one bromobutane, and he's saying draw the displayed formula of compound P. So what I'm going to do is remember one bromobutane, right? So butane is 4 carbon atoms. One bromo means bromine is on the first one, or baki, these are all H's. Okay, so I'm not drawing or showing the H atoms right now. So that is one bromobutane, and it reacts with HCN and KCN. So it reacts with HCN and KCN. So this is a halogenoalkane. So if I look at the chart, what happens to a halogenoalkane? There's a substitution reaction that happens with CN-1 nucleophiles. So CN-1 nucleophiles, and if I have a look at the mechanism is SN1, SN2, that nucleophilic substitution. It's either CN-1, since we have a primary halogenoalkane, it's going to be an SN2 mechanism. It's going to be this one. Okay, you would have CN-1 coming in, and the OH or the OH, it will substitute the Cl, and the nucleophile will take its place. So the same thing would happen with the CN-1 as well. So this one bromobutane, if you reacted with HCN or KCN, you got a CN in place of the bromine. There is a substitution, nucleophilic substitution. And he was asking for the displayed formula. So the displayed formula is कि जब भी displayed formula होगा, you will have to show every single bond. So Br की जगह ना, you have got a CN now, and if there is a CN, you will show every single bond in every single atom as well. Okay, so all of these are H atoms. So this is your P. And then he says that it changes into a carboxylic acid. So how does a nitrile?
सर
हाँ जी.
सर वो मैं कह रहा था कि जो अपने वो वर्कशीट है आपके पास, वो समरी इन सारे ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री की समरी जो पेज आपके पास
ये वाली ना इसकी बात कर रहा
है सर, जिसके अंदर लाइक सारे जम्बल्ड अप हुए हैं, लाइक समरी सारे रिएक्शंस की.
तो यही है.
यस सर, ये.
हाँ, तो वो ग्रुप पे सेंड कीजिए, मैं दोबारा सेंड कर देता हूँ. ठीक है, वो है वैसे ग्रुप पे.
ओके सर.
और मतलब समरी नहीं, यही है सारी ऑर्गेनिक. ठीक है, मतलब उसके आगे जो डिटेल है ना, वो बहुत कम है एक्चुअली. वो बस थोड़ा अंडरस्टैंडिंग का पार्ट है, लेकिन मोस्ट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनिक इज जस्ट दिस. अच्छा, एनीवेज, you've got C triple bond N, तो वो कार्बोक्सिलिक एसिड में किस तरह कन्वर्ट होता है? What happens is that if you have a nitrile, तो उसका हाइड्रोलिसिस होता है कि it undergoes hydrolysis, acid या फिर alkaline hydrolysis, and it turns into a carboxylic acid. तो यहाँ पे वही हो रहा है, it's turning into a carboxylic acid, और यहाँ पे acidic hydrolysis होगा. It's going to be H2SO4 dilute and reflux. तो वो एसिड हाइड्रोलिसिस हो रहा होगा, और alkaline hydrolysis इसलिए नहीं, because I told you if you have an alkaline hydrolysis, the carboxylic acid would end up reacting with the alkali, and it would end up forming a salt. मतलब NaOH के साथ है. हाँ
सर, वो CO- बनाएगा ना?
हाँ, alkaline में ना, क्योंकि ये यहाँ पे बना हुआ भी है कि अगर carboxylic acid होगा and if you reacted with NaOH, so it will turn into a salt, CO-1.
सर, उसके साथ कोई और डिफरेंस भी था एसिड और अल्कलाइन में?
बस यही मेन डिफरेंस है कि अल्कलाइन में it turns into a salt. That's it. और कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है. ठीक है
सर, उसके अंदर बेसिकली वो NH3+ और NH4 इस तरह से कुछ लिखा होता है.
ना, वो तो उसका था एमाइड्स का. वो तो है नहीं कोर्स में, वो तो एमाइड्स, एमाइड J2 में, एमाइड्स इज नॉट इन दिस। अच्छा इसमें सॉरी, नाइट्राइल्स का फुल रिएक्शन जो है, हाँ उसमें देयर इज NH4+1 एंड अमोनिया, उसका इशू है। जस्ट होल्ड ऑन 1 सेकंड। अच्छा जस्ट होल्ड ऑन 1 सेकंड। अच्छा सॉरी, वापस इस पे नहीं, वो फुल इक्वेशन अगर बुक खोलोगे ना, द फुल इक्वेशन इज that the I mean the full equation is that the nitrile hydrolyzes and turns into a carboxylic acid, and simultaneously there's an ammonium ion that's produced as well. So nitrile hydrolysis, 1 second equation, तो कहीं पे आई है? uh, that's the mechanism, 1 second, ये शायद हो acid hydrolysis, alkaline hydrolysis, this one on this side. अच्छा नहीं, उसमें भी नहीं दिया हुआ. That's the full equation. Okay, anyways, I'll just tell you that the full equation is that what happens is कि जब nitrile oxide sorry hydrolyze होता है, the N breaks away, it turns into an NH4+1 ion. Is that clear? ठीक है वो
yes
clear?
sir.
लेकिन full equation, most reactions के लिए you don't need to know the equation, the complete equation. You just need to know that a nitrile turns into a carboxylic acid. That would pretty much do the job. क्योंकि थोड़ा सा impossible भी होगा to remember the full ionic equations. And most of the time, 99.99% of the time, no one is going to ask you about the full equation. I say anyway, so this one, ये कर लेते हैं कि bromobutane turns into an alkene. How does it turn back into an alkene? वापस chart के अंदर देखो, how does it turn back into an alkene? That concentrated NaOH, यहाँ पे
Aqueous.
नहीं, ethanolic.
Oh, not
वो aqueous NaOH होता है, तो that's, it turns into an alcohol. That is substitution. So it's going to be concentrated NaOH, ethanolic, plus यहाँ पे heat है, मैं वो miss हुआ है यहाँ पे, there's heat here as well. So that is the reaction. तो उसके आगे जाके conditions पूछी होंगी. So it's going to be concentrated NaOH, ethanolic, it has to be mentioned, and plus there's going to be heat. अब है वो butene से ना, it turns into a polymer. So draw the structure, identify the reagents and conditions. So we did all of that. Draw the structure of the repeat unit of polymer Q. So polymer Q, but1-ene का इधर ही draw कर लेते हैं. but1-ene. But is 4, double bond यहाँ पे, और ये बाकी H है. अब polymer बनाने के लिए ना शर्त ये कि nothing should be on the right or left side of the double bond. Yani if you have a double bond, there should be nothing. I mean, this thing should be, इसको bend करके नीचे की तरफ ले आओ. This thing should be, इसको bend करके नीचे की तरफ ले आओ. So your molecule would have this shape. Okay, the CH2 CH3, that would be drawn in, it should not be drawn on the right side, and the H should not be drawn on the left side, and then there would be repeat units. So you'll have another CH2 CH3, and they would link up, and the double bond in the middle would turn into a single bond. So draw the structure of the repeat unit of the polymer. So that's just this, and put an N around it. Is that clear? You clear?
yes sir.
ठीक है. And I said the other one is you have he's seeing a mechanism now. So is SN1, SN2, which one is this? Is this a primary halogenoalkane or a secondary or tertiary? What is this?
Primary.
अच्छा, तो ये प्राइमरी है. प्राइमरी का मैकेनिज्म उसमें बना हुआ है, वो डायरेक्टली जाके अटैक करता है. ठीक है, where's the primary ये वाला. So this is the primary mechanism that the nucleophile is going to come and directly attack it, and it would form an intermediate, a transition state, not an intermediate. It's a
सर
one.
सर आपने ये SN2 का एक्सप्लेन किया था कि टर्म रेफर किसको करता है?
वो रेफर करता है कि दोनों रिएक्टेंट्स के ऊपर रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन. 2 stands for that the rate of the reaction depends on both reactants. ठीक है.
ओके सर.
वो दूसरा जो था ना वो two step reaction था ना इसमें. The first one was slow. So the first one was actually slow, and this one was actually fast. There was step 1, and then there was a step 2. एक सेकंड इसको मैं सेव भी कर लूं. This was a 1-step reaction. ठीक है. So this one was a 1-step reaction, and यहाँ पे भी मैं ऐड कर लूं. Just a second, जो मिस हुआ है. क्या मिस हुआ था वो प्लस हीट. चलिए मैं जी सेव हो गया. अच्छा, तो OH-1, उसके पहले तो लोन पेयर शो करने हैं. Carbon is partial positive and this bromine is slight negative. The OH will attack, or remember दूसरी side से आएगा. ठीक है. So the OH is going to come from the other side. It's going to attack that carbon positive. The electrons will be repelled. Next stage would be the transition state that you would have H, or your top pinna there is CH2.
सर
हाँ
सर वो क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ
सर वहाँ पे एक पास पेपर कर रहा था, अभी एग्जैक्टली याद नहीं आ रहा, लेकिन उसके अंदर एक था PCl5 के साथ रिएक्शन हो रहा था और SOCl2.
हाँ. उसमें SOCl2 की यील्ड ज्यादा है. यील्ड का था ना.
या इस तरह से यील्ड का क्वेश्चन था.
हाँ वो भी लिख देते हैं इसके ऊपर. ठीक है. कि लिखा हुआ भी है, शायद नहीं लिखा हुआ. इस मतलब SOCl2 की बेस्ट यील्ड है.
सर PCl3 PCl5.
हाँ उनकी यील्ड नहीं ज्यादा. ठीक है. ये भी बीच में सेव कर दिया. ठीक है. तो वो आया हुआ एक क्वेश्चन आया हुआ. So अगले स्टेप में क्या होगा? What will happen is that the Br would break away, and this entire thing will have a charge of. It will have a charge of -1. और फिर next step में बस वो complete हो गया. Final step बना लेना खुद ही. So the final step is the Br breaks away and the OH takes its position. So it's going to be CH3, CH2, CH2. Carbon, you got an H and H. The Br has broken away, so it's Br -1 now. And in its place, you've got an OH that's in its place now. So that's your 1-step reaction. So you have to draw everything, the lone pairs, dipoles, curly arrows, etc. Everything has been drawn. So next one, but1ene reacts with steam as shown to form a mixture of 2 structural isomers. The but1ene steam के साथ react कर रहा है. So what was the Markovnikov's rule? Where would the H get attached to? Right side or left side?
Most hydrogen.
Okay, which is this one, right? तो आपके पास major
Yes,
product.
sir.
अच्छा, major product होगा कि you'll have OH over here on the second one and H would be on this one, right? और बाकी सारे H है. The minor product would be कि वो दूसरे तरीके से attach हो जाएगा. The minor product would be that the H gets attached over here and the OH gets attached over here.
Sir?
हाँ.
Sir, minor product against the rule जाता है.
हाँ वो against the rule जाता है ना. ठीक है. So major product is this one, minor product is this one. और फिर वो इसको ऑक्साइज भी कर रहा है. So is this a secondary alcohol or what? Or tertiary or what? किस टाइप का alcohol is this one?
secondary.
क्योंकि alpha carbon is bonded to 2 carbon chains, so that is secondary alcohol. So secondary alcohols will turn into ketones if
Ketone.
you oxidize them. ठीक है, so they will turn into ketones. So this would be 4 carbon atoms, और वो जो है ना, that will turn into a ketone. वो बाकी hydrogens खुद ही draw कर लो. Right, so that's a ketone. Identify the type of reaction that occurs when it reacts with steam. That's alkenes always undergo electrophilic addition. As I state, what can be deduced about the structure of S from its reaction with the alkaline aqueous
Sir?
iodine?
Sir, electrophilic addition और electrophilic substitution में कोई difference है या exactly same term?
Electrophilic substitution तो है ही नहीं, वो तो A2 में है. Alkenes का जो भी reaction था, that was electrophilic addition. This one, bromine getting added, carbocation formed, right?
Yes, sir.
तो वो तो सारे वो था. Water वाला भी ये था कि H+1 पहले जाके attach हो जाएगा, then OH ion gets close to it. So it is all electrophilic addition. Substitution तो है ही नहीं course में. ASK. Electrophilic substitution. Nucleophilic substitution is there. As a baki state, what can be deduced about the structure of S from its reaction with alkaline aqueous iodine? So what is alkaline aqueous iodine? किधर गया? It's the iodoform test. इन दो structures को identify करता है. तो वो कह रहा है कि this is alkaline aqueous iodine. A yellow precipitate CH3 next to serial bond O or CH3 next to CHOH. So is there any of these structures present? Structure of S. So is there a CH3? So there is a CH3 which is next to CHOH. Clear?
Yes, sir.
ये जो CH3 है, that would break away and it would form CHI3. It would form a yellow precipitate, and these 3 carbon atoms, उसमें this one would turn into a carboxylic acid or a salt of the carboxylic acid. It would turn into a salt of the carboxylic acid. So state what can be deduced about the structure of S from its reaction. So it can be deduced that it has this thing. It's got a CH3 next to CHOH. That's the only thing that this thing is present. ठीक है, is that clear?
Sorry, फिर से explain कर सकते हैं?
नहीं, alkaline aqueous iodine का क्या test था? It was a test for the identification of 2 structures. मतलब clear है कि ये structure होगा तो iodoform test positive होगा ना. तो बस ठीक है, वो है ना इसमें, ये S में CH3 CHOH, that's it.
Okay.
इसका भी test positive होगा. CH3 next to serial bond O, that will also be positive. के the CH3 will break away. This will not be positive because there is no CH3 next to either serial bond O or CHOH. Is that clear? Iodoform test is only positive if you have exactly this structure present. ठीक है, clear है?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, फिर वो question आ गया major and minor product का. He's saying why is S the major product? So the reasoning was, okay, why is Markovnikov's reasoning was this one. Okay, why does unsymmetric alkenes, why does hydrogen bond with the carbon that's already bonded to more hydrogen atoms? Why does it bond with this one? Because the carbocation that is formed in the middle of, or it's surrounded by large groups. So if it's surrounded by large groups, it's got electron donating alkyl chains which decrease the charge density. So it's got a lot smaller charge density, which is why it is stable. This one is unstable because if the hydrogen bonds with the carbon on the left side, then the carbocation would be formed on the other carbon atom. And if it's formed on the other carbon atom, so the positive charge would be very large, and that would make it unstable. So it's harder to have large positive charges. So ये हमने explanation लिखी हुई है. This is the explanation that you have to write in this case. So we just go back to the question, and we're going to state that stable. I mean, this carbocation but1 था ना. So we're going to state, मतलब वो बता देंगे कि ये था. So the H likes to bond with this carbon atom. Why? Okay, if the H bonds with this carbon atom, this is a stable carbocation. So second degree carbocations are more stable. Why? Because they have more electron donating alkyl chains. So they are more electron donating alkyl chains, which decrease the charge density of this positive carbocation. Is that clear?
Yes.
ठीक है, हमने बहुत डिटेल में पढ़ा था. हमने वो पढ़ा था कि इसका पॉजिटिव चार्ज ज्यादा क्यों नहीं होना चाहिए. वो इसलिए नहीं होना चाहिए कि वो H इलेक्ट्रॉन छीन रहा था ना उससे. तो अगर उसका पॉजिटिव चार्ज बहुत ज्यादा होगा, मतलब H था ना, इलेक्ट्रॉन छीन रहा था उससे, तो अगर उसके ऊपर पॉजिटिव चार्ज बहुत ही ज्यादा होगा तो वो H बेचारा इलेक्ट्रॉन उससे छीन ही नहीं सकता. इट कैन नॉट अट्रैक्ट द इलेक्ट्रॉन इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस. तो ये कभी बनेगा ही नहीं कि मतलब H इससे इलेक्ट्रॉन छीन रहा है. अगर इसके ऊपर पॉजिटिव चार्ज बहुत ज्यादा बनेगा तो उससे इलेक्ट्रॉन्स वापस ले लेगा. द H विल नॉट बी एबल टू bond with the double bond. So which is why this is very unstable. It's not going to form. अच्छा, but anyways, draw the skeletal formula of ST and U. वो यहीं पे बना लेते हैं. 4 कार्बन आटम है ना. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Third वाले पे there's an OH. That's it. इसका भी बना लेते हैं. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Third वाले पे there's a double bond. आखिरी का भी बना लेते हैं. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth वाले पे there's an OH. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 carbon atoms. तो वो सारे हो गए. ठीक है उधर. So we've drawn the skeletal formulas. अच्छा, अगला है कि it reacts with methanol. This thing, it's got an unpleasant. ये भी कुछ दिया हुआ उसने. ये भी कर लेते हैं. Write an equation to represent the oxidation of S2U. क्या था oxidation of S2U? Alcohol turns into ketone, secondary alcohol. तो secondary alcohol हमारे पास क्या था? तीसरे वाले पे ना वो OH लगा हुआ था. CH2 CHOH or फिर CH3, right? I mean, this was the molecule. Let me go back. CH3 CH2 CHOH CH3. तो ये मैंने लिख दिया. और वो कीटोन बन रहा है. तो again it's CH3 CH2. वो जो तीसरा वाला है ना, that is now CO. So it's turning into a ketone. Go back. CH3 CH2 CO CH3. Acha, so you have to write an equation. It's saying use O to represent the oxidizing agent. चलो ठीक है, O कर दिए. अच्छा, what will happen now? वो क्या कर रहा है? H lose कर रहा है ना. How many H's is it losing? 3, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 10. Over here you have 8. So 2 hydrogens lose किया ना. So that means a water molecule is produced. That's it. Oxygens भी बराबर है. That's it. So there's a water molecule that's produced. So use O as the oxidizing agent. We will able to write the equation. ये clear है?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, अब ये कि next है name V. क्या V? He's saying it reacts with methanol to produce an organic product V. So carboxylic acid and alcohols. So carboxylic acid alcohols, they would react to produce esters. I said this one, carboxylic acid. So how are esters formed? CH3, CH2, 3A, and then there's a carboxylic acid. He's saying that it reacts with methanol. Methanol is an alcohol with just one carbon atom. So क्या होगा? Esters are formed. Esters are formed. The OH is lost and the H over here is lost. So this is gone. This is gone as well. Sorry, चला गया एक second. C or O रह गया. And they would end up forming an ester link. And you have to name this molecule now. So what would be the name? How do you name esters? मतलब ये clear है कि ester बन गया?
Methyl propanoate.
ठीक है. So the alcohol side is methyl. और वो जो दूसरी side है ना, that's how many carbons is this? This is 3 plus 1 4. 4 plus 1 5 हो गए. Pentanoate होगा. ये clear है? It's methyl pentanoate. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So अगला student analyzed the mass spectrum, infrared spectroscopy. The spectrum was returned to the student without labels. So identify which of the infrared spectrum X, Y, or Z corresponds to V. So infrared spectrum. अच्छा, first thing, मैंने पहले भी कहा है कि infrared spectrum में the one that you're going to look for is this kind of infrared spectrum. अच्छा, infrared spectrum में I had told you that the most easily identifiable peaks are these two. Okay, it's a serial bond O peak and it's an OH peak. Serial bond O peak is easy to spot. It's 1600, 1700. There's going to be a very strong absorption. So if you go and have a look, तो इनमें से किसके पास serial bond O है? This one has serial bond O, right? अच्छा, this one has no serial bond O. And this one also has. तो इसका मतलब है दो के पास ना ये दो जो भी मॉलिक्यूल्स हैं, रिमेंबर लेबल्स जो हैं वो खराब हुए हैं, ठीक है, वी हैव टू मैच देम. सो वन ऑफ देम हैज सीरियल बॉन्ड O, the other one has no serial bond O, the third one also has serial bond O. Is that clear? Okay, the first thing that you're going to look for in the mass spectrum, forget all the other bonds, just focus on serial bond O. ये clear है?
Sir?
हाँ.
सर किन के ज्यादा वो होंगे absorption?
नहीं, मैं इन दो की बात कर रहा हूँ ना. मैंने बताया कि सबसे पहले जाके आप सीरियल बॉन्ड और OH को उसी से काम चल जाएगा, बाकी देखने की कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है. ठीक है. सी डबल बॉन्ड होगी, स्ट्रॉन्ग एब्जॉर्प्शन होगी 1600 के ऊपर. ठीक है, दैट्स अ वेरी यूनिक पीक के जगह पे. तो सीरियल बॉन्ड हो 1600 पे कुछ नहीं है ना, यहाँ पे 1600 पे है एब्जॉर्प्शन, तो यहाँ पे भी 1600 पे there's an absorption 1700. ठीक है, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, दूसरा OH पे आ जाओ. OH का क्या था? OH का था कि OH की ना there's going to be a strong and very broad absorption in the 2500 to 3000 range. Somewhere around 3000 there's going to be a strong and very broad absorption. तो ये देखो, there's a strong broad absorption, so that is definitely an OH, and this is an OH that belongs to a carboxylic acid. मतलब carboxylic acid वाला OH है, क्योंकि it's carboxylic acid वाला जो OH है ना, that's a strong and very broad absorption, right? फिर बाकियों में क्या है? This is not a strong absorption, so ये CH है, but that is definitely not OH, क्योंकि OH की पीक जो है ना वो या तो आएगी 3000 के strong and very broad, or it's going to come above 3200. तो पीछे कौन सा रह जाता है 3000 पे? Then it's your carbon hydrogen bonds. जो CH वाले जो bonds है ना, they would be vibrating and it's going to be weak. Yeah, 3000 पे you're going to get this absorption, so it's definitely a CH absorption. अब ये 3200 से आगे जाके आ रहा है, that's probably an alcohol OH. Is that clear? But greater than 3200 है. तो ये तीनों clear हुए कि नहीं हुए?
Yes, sir.
Okay, serial bond O. 3000 के कितना? If you have a broad absorption, that's a carboxylic acid OH. This one has no serial bond O. अच्छा, इसके ऊपर 1000 के ऊपर एक बड़ी strong absorption है. I mean, I wouldn't even care about that, but strong absorption around 1000. C single O. तो probably शक हो रहा है कि this is C single O. लेकिन what I usually do is I just focus on these two. That's it. I'll get my answer based on. Nee, Oswa, if it's एक second, Oswa. If it's above 3200, alcohol वाला जो है ना, alcohol is greater than 3200. इसलिए मैंने कहा था it's an alcohol OH. Is that clear? So this one over here is an alcohol OH because it's a lot further away. It's around 3500, ठीक है? Yeah, 3400. So that's definitely an alcohol OH. Carboxylic acid OH would be around 3000, and it's going to be broad. But anyways, just by looking at OH and serial bond O, I'll be able to figure out what is this molecule. So let's talk about the first one. The first one is a carboxylic acid. Okay, it's CH3. And there's methanol as well. तो मैं इधर draw कर लेता हूँ. अच्छा, carboxylic acid OH इसमें है. तो वो वाला तो ये हो गया. There were 3 CH2s and then there was carboxylic acid, ठीक है? So there's only one which has carboxylic acid. So I've been able to identify one of them. By looking at 2 bonds, I've been able to identify this one by कि एक तो इसमें OH का bond है and plus there's a cetyl bond O bond. Both of them are present over here. ये clear है कि एक को मैंने identify कर लिया कि Z is this one. ये जो Z था ना label हुआ था spectrum Z, that is this one. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Methanol क्या होगा? अब मुझे शक पड़ रहा है कि this must be methanol. Why? क्योंकि methanol के molecule में ना there is not going to be a serial bond O. तो ठीक है, methanol यही होगा फिर. So spectrum Y is basically this one. Is that clear? क्योंकि इसमें भी serial bond O है and this one also has serial bond O. So methanol definitely does not have serial bond O. ये clear है methanol?
Sir?
हाँ.
Sir, C single bond और C double bond हो. Like इनके presence में क्या like difference आता है?
बस वो है ना कि absorption frequency different है ना उनकी. C single O जो है 1000 पे wave number पे वो कर रहा है vibrate infrared spectrum में, और C double bond O जो है वो 1600 पे strong absorption दे रहा है, ठीक है? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
और बाकी क्या रह गया? The rest is कि you've got अच्छा, the rest is you've got फिर V था, V का उससे कुछ भी नहीं बताया था, तो यही V होगा, ठीक है? So he didn't tell us anything about V. तो ये clear है कि he gave us 2 molecules. I was able to identify that this one is this one because it's a carboxylic acid clearly. This one has no serial bond O, so this must be methanol. So the third one होगा क्या वैसे? It's definitely a ketone, but I'm not sure. They didn't ask anything about this one. 4 mark का था. They were just asking कि वो spectrums match करो, reasoning दो. So by looking at the relevant features, तो आपने वो reasoning भी देनी है, and it has to be brief. Like you're going to say that why is this thing methanol? Why is it? Because it doesn't have a serial bond O absorption. Plus, it's got an absorption above 3200. That means it's an alcohol. That's it. So then you're going to say, why is spectrum Z is this molecule? Why is this molecule? Because it's got a serial model. Plus, it's got a broad absorption around the 3000 range. So it's an OH that belongs to carboxylic acid. So this is a carboxylic acid. That's it. और by default जो आखिरी रह गया ना, that's V. Okay, they didn't ask anything about V. Is this clear? You clear?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा चलो फिर वो बस ठीक है, कल से फिर थोड़ा पूरा पेपर करेंगे. We're done with a lot of organic questions. Infrared spectrum clear enough. I said, remember, you will not see any questions regarding mass spectrum. तो वो अलग से तैयार करना mass spectrum, जिसमें वो number of carbon atoms, number of bromine, etc. Everything has to be mentioned. ठीक है. चलें, let's continue next time. ये मैं updated version जो है ना वो मैं भेज रहा हूँ. ठीक है. चलें, okay then. Take care.